only are they prepared to lose, they take that losing and they turn it into that push, that motivation. You know, that what do I need to do to improve? What do I need to do to stay on top of my game thing? And then it was to try and get onto Team Australia. And then it was to try to get to the world titles. So every time you get to that next point, you win and you progress. The best bit is you never go back.
So we are going to start with my buddy, Scotty Schindler. And Scotty is, as I mentioned, he's in Australia. Scotty, where are you? There you are. So Scotty's in Australia. I met Scotty through Brian McDonald, who's part of my VAB. And he just was like, you got to talk to Scotty. And I was like, I know, but I see him like all over social media. He's not going to want to talk to me. Well, he talked to me and now he's my buddy and he's my coach, my accountability coach. So welcome, Scotty. We're so excited. And thank you for 1:15 a.m. in the morning doing this for us.
That's dedication. That's a badass right there, if you could define one.
That's right. That's right.
It's funny you say badass entrepreneur. And when I first sold the business and I had to sort of talk for Google about, you know, entrepreneurship and startups, and my wife said to me, were you really an entrepreneur? And I said, well, yeah. But anyway, I'll take the badass, no problems at all. So, yeah, it's a funny story, that one. My wife sort of went, you know, she just saw the business. She was there the whole way, but she just didn't really, you know, see that whole side of the entrepreneurial journey, you know. So she just saw it as me. It was just me going to work and building a business, right? And yeah, it's good fun. So I like the word badass. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's authentic to who you are. So
I can certainly own that, no problems at all. In fact, when I go surfing, yeah, I have a bit of a reputation as one of those badasses. I get a lot of good waves and everyone get cranky at me and I go, well, you know, I didn't go out there to get the worst waves. I went out there to get the best waves. So
that's right.
Yeah. Hey, do you want me to start? Do you want me to get going?
Yep, go ahead, jump in.
So I'm going to talk today about the winning mindsets. Now, it's something that I'm very passionate about. I love all the motivational stuff, but I don't get a chance to talk about it very often because basically, you know, most people want to know more about the story and all the systems that I did and all the philosophies and what did I actually do and how did I overcome adversity and all that sort of stuff to create a company, then exit and become financially independent and retire early. But I got the opportunity with you, Kelly, to talk about the winning mindset. So I'm super happy to talk about that today because it brings in the sporting side. And I did a post today and I spoke about 5 things in that post. I'm going to stick to those because I've only got 20 minutes. So you'll have to keep an eye on my time, Kelly. So
I will.
But, you know, the first one was a winning mindset is about being prepared to lose. I'll go into these in a bit of detail. Being focused, so laser focused, building your team, having audacious goals, big goals, you know, and also then that final thing is about, you know, being able to do whatever it takes. And that's a bit of the, you know, some of the things it takes to have that winning mindset. And I truly believe everyone has it deep down, but, you know, it's making it part of your DNA. And, you know, I'm going to talk about some of that winning mindset, but I'll give a quick story first. There was this guy, right? He was on a crocodile tour or an alligator tour, if you like. Anyway, the water was all full of all these crocodiles. And the guy that owned the boat said, look, I'll give $1 million to anyone that can jump off the boat, swim across and get to the shore about 25 meters away, right? And everyone's laughing on the boat, all the tour people are laughing. Next thing you know, bang, there's this guy, he's in the water. And he starts swimming like a bloody Olympic, you know, gold medalist. He's flying through the water. Anyway, he gets to the other side, he climbs up on the bank and the guy that owns the boat goes, wow, that was amazing. You know, you're really a self-motivated kind of guy. No one's ever even tried it before, let alone actually achieved it. You know, like, this is amazing. Well, you must have really wanted the money. And the guy goes, hey, I didn't even try. My wife just pushed me in. So basically, sometimes you do it because you want to, and sometimes you'll do things because you have to. But in that case, he had no choice but to win and get to the other side. So, you know, at the end of the day, really what it comes down to is what we want to do with a winning mindset. And that could be in business or in sport. And the first thing about that I said in the winning mindset is being prepared to lose. So basically, you know, whenever you lay things on the line, let's do it from a sporting perspective. So if I look at the surfing side of things, for those of you that know who Kelly Slater is, he's the best surfer of all time. All right. His actual winning rate was only 63% of every heat he ever went in. So he lost a third of the time, and he was the world's, and still is probably arguably the world's best ever surfer. And he still only won 2/3 of the time. Amazing, right? So in other words, he had to be prepared to lose 1 in 3 heats every single time he went out. He just knew that was his figures, right? He didn't know which one he was going to lose, but losing was part of the process, and they have to be prepared for that. So you have to be prepared to lose. And you also have to be prepared to be judged. So let's say competitive surfing again. Well, you're not only getting judged by the people that judge you and give you a score, you're getting judged by everyone around the world who watches that. So people are going to say they don't like the surfboard, they don't like what you're wearing. So you're constantly being judged. So you have to be prepared for that side of things. You have to be prepared to lose. In fact, not only are they prepared to lose, they take that losing and they turn it into that push, that motivation. You know, that what do I need to do to improve? What do I need to do to stay on top of my game? And that's what being prepared to lose means. It's knowing that it's part of the process. It's knowing that you accept it and, you know, embrace that loss because you know you're getting closer to your wins. And that's what it's like in business. So not everything in business works, right? It just doesn't happen. So having the same winning mindset in business is so important because we all know not everything's going to work. And from time to time, things are going to go wrong. And you might have good years, you might have bad years. You know, and the more you can look at those things that happen, assess them and reset and keep going towards your goals, the better chance you've got. But being prepared to lose is one of the first things. The second thing is the focus, right? So they have this laser focus. You know, when I was coaching the kids with surfing, you know, they go to, let's say it was a weekend surfing competition. They turn up and a lot of them didn't focus on the competition itself. They got there and it was all the hype about the competition, you know, being around all the other people and all the stuff that goes on and the circus that's there. And I keep saying to them, listen, guys, it's no good being the best surfer on Monday. You have to be the best surfer on Sunday while the competition is on. Stay focused on what you're doing right here, right now, in the moment. You know, you can go muck around next week, but you've just traveled hours or whatever you've done to get here to try and get a result, to achieve your goals. So now be laser focused. Be focused on what is happening right here and right now. And having that winning mindset just means that. It's about doing what needs to be done right now to get that win. And if you go back to the first point, you know, you're not going to win everything. So the ones you do want to win, you have to really stay laser focused on that winning. And they also know, number 3, they can't do it on their own. Most people create a team around them of some sort. So they either have a coach, like in surfing, they could have their physio, they could have their fitness coach, they could have their mental coach. You know, there's someone who helps to do all their accommodation and bookings, for example. But in business, it's the same. So no one does business on their own ever. They've always got a team of people around them. You'll never see a successful person in business that's just the solo entrepreneur, right? They've always got a team. And that's that part of that winning mindset. And part of that winning mindset is everyone in the team has to win. Everyone in the team has to win. And the other thing about the winning mindset is about the goals. And they have big, big goals, all these people with winning mindsets, like big goals. And they're not afraid to share it. You know, there's no guarantee they'll be number 1 in the world, but they do aim to be number 1 at whatever they want to do in any professional sport. They want to be the best football kicker. They want to be the best golf player. They want to be the best whatever. They have these massive, massive goals, is that winning mindset. And in business is the same, you know. So, you know, we look at Alex's videos. Alex does his videos and he wants people to like his videos. He wants to win people over with his videos. He does awesome videos. And that's that winning mindset. Now, some people might not like it, but that's okay. It doesn't stop his attitude. It doesn't stop his desire every time he makes a video to make it the best he's ever made and better than the last one he did, to progress and get better and improve and have that winning mindset every single time he does something. You know, you imagine in surfing, in sport, you didn't go out with that winning mindset to be better than you were last time. You know, even everyone that's won a gold medal wants to go back to the next Olympics and be better than the last Olympics. They all want to be better. It's like this internal drug that goes into this winning mindset. So nothing can ever bring you down. Even the losers, you know, the adversity they go through, the losses, they all turn that into a positive mindset. And I believe everyone's got it. But, the thing that really separates them a lot of the time is that last bit, which is doing whatever it takes. But it's not about doing whatever it takes on the day as much as that's important. Let's say I'd use competitive surfing as an example. It's important on the day you do that focus. It's important you do whatever it takes on the day. But, whatever it takes is actually what's happening in the lead up to it. It's what's happening in the months and the years that you did to get there. Like, look at the Olympic athletes, man. They have to wait 4 years before they get another crack. 4 years of doing whatever it takes. Getting up in the morning, eating right, not going to parties. They have to do 4 years of complete discipline to get to that point of being able to have another crack at getting another gold Olympic medal or even a silver Olympic medal or any other medal at all. So that's a massive, massive amount of time. So, doing whatever it takes, it's also about that training. It's all that grit and determination and discipline along the way. So, we all see it. We all know what's going on with people when they have that. But it's being able to, in business, go, well, what do I need to do? What's my extra mile? What's the bit extra that I'm doing that's different? Where am I getting my training or my coaching from? If professional sports people have to do that to win, well, business people have to do that to win too. If there's no successful sports people without a coach and someone to guide them, without a team of people, well, there's the same thing in business. You have to have your own coaches. You have to have those disciplined people around you that are part of your team to help you go further. So, if you look at anyone in business and that sort of stuff, being prepared to lose, being laser focused, having a team, doing all those big goals and doing whatever it takes, it just makes sense, doesn't it? But the challenge now is you've got to constantly remind yourself to do those things on a day-to-day basis. So making that winning mindset part of your DNA. Because some days you get up you just want to achieve a couple of certain things. You want to get some good things done. And by the end of the day, you haven't achieved anything that you really wanted to achieve. But it doesn't mean you're not a winning mindset. It's just stuff comes up. It doesn't change who you are. Some days you turn up to do some stuff and just everything goes wrong. Stuff you didn't even plan. It just comes from left field. And all of a sudden you've got to keep that mental attitude going, that positive mental attitude about winning and continuing on with your goals, whether they be business, personal or sport, doesn't matter. So it's not often I get a chance to talk about surfing and that mindset. So if I go back to one of my coolest stories to give a surfing example on a winning mindset was the last title I won was about 3 years ago. And I trained and trained and trained. I was actually away for work a lot leading up to it. So I actually had to practice surfing without surf. So I was going to the gym and I was practicing pop-ups. I was doing all these turns and practicing. And then I managed to actually not lose a heat that whole year. But in the final, the one that really matters, right? Because the only one that matters is not the progression rounds, is the last one where you're competing against 3 other guys. And as I paddled out for this, the final, the swell had picked right up. It was quite solid. And my game strategy paddling out was not to get washed down the beach, because if the big ones came through, the sets came through, you got washed down the beach. And within a minute of getting out the back, a big set came through. I got washed down the beach. But you know what? I could have gone, oh man, I'm ruined now. I've just lost this heat. The whole strategy's gone. But when I went into the beach and ran around and started that heat again, I just kept on telling myself, but I trained for this. It's okay. I trained for this. I've still got 15 minutes to catch 2 good waves. I just got to go back out and start again and not lose it. Does that make sense? It was mine to lose. I didn't want to lose. And that's that part of that winning mindset. So every now and then, you've got to call really deep on things that you've done in training, you've done in knowledge, you've read a book on, you've come to a webinar like this and you've learned something. Every now and then you've got to dig really, really, really deep, like beyond belief, to get that next level, to get that win that you really want to do. But that win didn't come down to that moment. It actually came down to the lead up, that months before it, of training and discipline, even when I wasn't surfing, to go and do it. And that's what it's about for everyone. It's about that discipline. I'm often asked, most people want to know how I dealt with adversity in business. What did I do when things went wrong? And you know what? I've actually probably forgotten about most of them. But the reality is, you just deal with it because you know it's part of the process. You know you've done all the right things leading up to it. that you just got to deal with that and move on so you can get back to all the good things that happen. It happens a lot. But at the end of the day, going back to that run around that I had to do on the beach, and I had 15 minutes left in the heat, the next wave I got was the best wave of the final. And then I got another one 5 minutes later, and I'd basically won the heat within the next 5 minutes. Now, if I didn't have that mindset running around, I never would have won that Australian title. And the emotion that I had, because I thought I'd lost it in the first few minutes, and I had to reset, and I had to restart, and I had to, refocus on what I was there for. And the emotion at the end of it was insane. So it's, I was actually in the water crying as a grown man going, well, I just did it. I'd lost it, and I actually got it. So, and that's that winning mindset. But once again, it wasn't that moment really that mattered. It was because I had to stay focused. If I hadn't had that winning mindset and wanting to win all the way along in the months leading up to it, it just wouldn't have happened. And then, if I go back to the business side of things, if you've ever seen someone grow a business and succeed, when you first start a business, it's hard. It can be lonely. It can be very difficult. And you're out there on your own. You're having to do your own training, your own discipline, get all that own grit and determination. And you have to go sometimes within to find that stuff. It just has to come from within. So people often ask, how do you find it? Well, it just becomes part of your DNA as you go forward because you keep that winning mindset. Call it a positive mental attitude, call it what you like. But, I use that crocodile example. It's much better when you do it like the guy that swam with the crocodiles when you want to do it rather than when someone pushes you or you have to do it. So it's much better to be able to control your emotions, to be able to do that on your own. But, I could talk about surfing all day, what it takes, even just, if anyone's ever surfed before that's listening, you get to the beach and you look out the back and there's all these waves coming in. Well, before you even get to stand up on the board, you got to paddle out, you got to duck dive all these waves. So you go underneath all these waves, you got to paddle out and they're smashing you. They're trying to push you in before you even get out the back. And then you get out the back. But then there's 20 or 30 other surfers out there who want the same wave as you. And now you've got to compete against the other surfers to get it. And then you catch one, you got to do it all again. You got to paddle back out against all the waves. You got to compete against the other surfers. So if you didn't have that right attitude to go out and surf, you just give up. If we don't have chairlifts in surfing, like snow skiing, at least you ski down the bottom, you get a chairlift back up. In surfing, you've got to go out against the elements. And, it can be quite cruel and also quite dangerous. And that doesn't even include the little bities out there that can come and get you if you really wanted to think about surfing and the danger that goes with it. But, in business, it's the same. So let's go business, right? There's always competition trying to come at you. There's always someone trying to take away your dreams or take away your clients or take away your goals or try to put you down. That's just the way it is in business. And that's just when you're starting out. That's just when you're getting going. And then when you get your business up and running, there's always people trying to take your ideas and try to steal those things from you, just like surfing with waves. It just happens. So once again, it comes back down to that winning mindset that, no, I know what I'm doing. I've trained, I'm focused, I've got my goals, I'm committed, I've got a team, I'm prepared to do all those things that it take. And that's that winning mindset at the end of the day. I think everybody's got it. I'm just going to try and share a message today that's a little bit, Kelly's given me the opportunity to talk about surfing and mindset because people always ask me about it around business. So that's what I wanted to share today, Kelly. How long did that take? I was trying to stick to on time because I think we started a minute or two late.
You're good. You have 2 more minutes before questions. But Alex, anything that you wanted to share?
Man, everything Scotty said there is the definition of a badass, is the definition of somebody that finds success in life and business and everything. It all comes down to mindset. The one thing that really stood out to me is I think a lot of people think about failure or mistakes as a block to success. And in reality, it's the bridge to success. So you have to look at it that way. It's part of the process, right? The faster you can get out there and fail, the faster you're going to succeed. So when I talk about when people first start creating content, for me, that's what I help people do, help them create content that generates revenue and builds their brand. And people are scared to put themselves out there for a variety of reasons. And when they start putting themselves out there, they're like, oh, my post didn't do well. I thought it was going to do better. And it's like, well, you just started. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have posts that flop. You're going to have failures. It's part of the process. What you do from there determines everything. When I first started posting content on LinkedIn, for example, in late 2019, I had 7 posts in a row that got 0 reactions, 0 comments. Now, At that point, I could have said, oh, it's the algorithm. LinkedIn's not even the place to be. Is this really a legit site? Like, I don't even think this is working right. I could have been like, I could have blamed other content creators, or I could have blamed this or that, or whatever it might be. I didn't. I said, my content needs to get better. I need to work at this craft. I need to build the skill. I need to watch what other people are doing and take things and build these skills up. And thank God that I thought that way, because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that mindset. So Scotty, you knocked it out of the park, man. Well done.
Yeah, and it's true what you say. You know, you could look at a professional golfer, a tennis player, a sporting team of any shape. They don't win all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They still come back to the next event with that same winning mindset. They just do a little bit harder, a little bit more focus, a little bit more grit and determination because of those things. They accept it. But, you know, people seem to think in business, oh, but you're not supposed to have any failures. You're not supposed to have anything go wrong. You're supposed to have clients that stay for life. You know, but that's not true. Things happen. Things go in cycles, and you need to ride that cycle. So if I use another ocean example, yeah, things come with good weather, and then they come with bad weather. Then they come with good weather, then they come with bad weather. It goes in cycles. You've got to learn to ride those cycles. You've got to learn to ride the waves of weather as well as the waves of the ocean. And the waves in business are exactly the same. Look at the stock market. It goes in waves. Everything goes in waves. And you've got to learn to ride those things. And that's one of the ways it works. So no one has a 100% success rate. You're 100% right, Alex. Anything else?
Kelly's got something to say.
Well, so we have a question, but I'll just say, like, cool. I think the stamina and the mindset for surfing, I've seen my son took lessons, and it's hard when you're just learning and you're 11, you know, it takes them forever to get out there because he's learning. The board is huge. It's heavy. The guy's trying to help him get over the waves, and then he can't even get up. You know, he can finally do it, but how many times he had to do it before he could get up and ride it in? So like that's business. It's just like, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. How many companies did you start before ReNet took off, right?
Well, yeah. So the good question. So ReNet for me was my 6th attempt at a business or a startup. So it was my fourth software, but 6th attempt at a startup. So I tried a medical portal. I did a real estate portal. I did a car yard portal. I did a accommodation portal. I tried doing computer networking, and I tried these things, right? But ReNet, the real estate one, was the one that got traction, and that took 2 years. And I often tell people the story that after a year of doing it, after the first couple, I thought I couldn't do it. And then I thought I better get a job, but no one would not only give me a job, they never even got a job interview. So I was forced to keep going down the path. I'm glad they didn't give me a job, because, man, if they'd given me a job, I never would have gone down the path of starting ReNet. So I was very lucky in that sense. So all those things that didn't go right helped create what did go right. So I was very lucky. Good question, Kelly.
Scotty, we have a question from Jeanette Martin. I think she's in Canada, I think.
Yes, she is.
She says, define differently in business, please, to beat off competition.
What's the question? Define differently.
Differently in business to beat off competition.
Oh, to beat off competition, to get rid of competition? Look, you know, I can only talk from my own examples. So people used to ask me all the time, because, you know, in the end, there was a whole heap of people in my space doing the same thing. I never once really looked at the competition. I just focused on my own game. So I didn't really know what their software did, even though I did. I never logged into their software to have a look at what they were doing. All I did was stay focused on my own game, because that's the only thing I can control. I can't control what they're doing. I can only control what I'm doing. So if I use the surfing example, I can go out in a heat and have the best heat I've ever had in my life and still not win, because someone just had one that was a little bit better. You know, or I might go in a heat and have a shocker, but the other people have an even worse heat, but I still win or still get through. But I can only focus on what I'm doing. I don't focus on the competition at all, not even a little bit. So I don't beat off the competition. I just ignore the competition. So I spoke to someone today in business, and they were talking about their pricing. So I had a session today, and they said, oh, but, you know, I can't charge any more than these guys because they charge this much. So I can't charge any more. I said, well, what are you comparing yourself to them for? It's your business. It's your clients. They've come to you for your services. You shouldn't be even thinking about the competition. It's you they want. It's your services they want. They want you to deliver products. So just deliver the products. The pricing you charge is up to you. Ignore the competition. So I don't really have, Jeanette, much advice to say how to beat off the competition, because I just ignored the competition. I just ran my own show. And the rest, well, I just didn't really care. In fact, in the end, I did a little bit of business judo and I sliced my way in the middle of all the real estate industry in Australia. So in the end, I became a bit of a glue in the middle, that I had nearly all the competition as a client, which is an interesting thing. I'll get to that with another story one day.
So I just wanted to say, if you are not part of System 1357, it is free to sign up. Scotty's got a bunch of short videos of all his lessons that he's learned, a lot of things that he's trademarked. And they're just like informal, really cool, short videos that kind of walk through some of that. So, feel free to sign up and take those. So thanks, Scotty.
I got one more thing just to wrap up. How long have I got, or is that it? I got one more thing.
30 seconds.
You know, the best thing about a winning mindset is whenever you do get those wins, you never go back to where you were before. You're always going up and winning and improving. So I wore this shirt deliberately because on the back, I don't know if you saw that, it said Team New South Wales. So this was, once upon a time to get on Team New South Wales was a big thing. And then it was to try and get onto Team Australia. And then it was to try to get to the world titles. So every time you get to that next point, you win in your progress. The best bit is you never go back, because you're always trying to drive forward and win and be the better person next week than you were last week, next month than you were last month, next year than you were last year. Mm-hmm. So that's the best thing about having a winning mindset.
You're challenging yourself, beating yourself.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you. Thanks, Scotty. Go to bed, because you have a big engagement, a big speaking engagement tomorrow morning for 17,000 people. So thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it. Great nuggets.
Good talking to everyone.
All right, DJG, we've got a few minutes.